Hey, paisanos!
We're the Mario Brothers, and plumbing's a game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. When your sink is in trouble, you can call us on the double. Faster than the others, you'll be hooked on the brothers. Yeah.
Let's go! Woohoo! Woo! Hello! It's me, a running Ragnarok lion! And I'm a Luigi, mother. I'm sorry, that's just my Mario and Luigi voice impression that I sometimes do for fun. But anyway. Welcome, ladies and gents, to my long overdue Super Mario Bros. Movie review. But yes, this is going to be my movie review in general of the Super Mario Bros. Movie that came out recently, and I say general, but without spoilers still. And I'm really excited. You guys have no idea how excited I am to talk about this movie, because right now, guys, this movie is everything to me. Because one thing you get to know about me right now is that I am a huge Super Mario fan, as you can also probably tell by my shirt, which I got from the Nintendo store, or Nintendo World from New York City. And for those who have been noticing that there's like this red thing that's behind me in some of my videos, actually, if you look close enough, it's actually a Mario rug. I've had this since I was a kid, and I still have it. And yes, it's all kind of grayed up now. But yeah, I still have it as kind of like you know, just in case I want to, you know, bring it out and just lay my legs. Oops, lay my legs and feet there. Sorry about that. But yeah, just as goes to show how big of a Mario fan I am. But yes, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which was directed by Aaron Horvath, Michael Jelinek, written by Matthew Fogo, co-produced by Chris Meledandri, the CEO of Illumination Entertainment, as well as Shigeru Miyamoto himself. Yes, the creator of so many beloved Nintendo franchises that a lot of us are very familiar with or we grew up with playing. And when he's in the executive producer seat, you know that he was going to have a lot of the final say of how this movie was going to go. And yeah, this movie, it really shows, which I'll delve into in a sec. And it stars the weirdest, funniest, and questionable cast to date to star as these beloved Super Mario franchise characters. You got Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Seth Rogen, as well as Fred Armisen, Sebastian Maniscalo, Scott Menville even, Keegan-Michael Richardson, and Charles Martinet himself. And, you know, the cast we'll talk about, we'll delve into in a couple of minutes. So the Super Mario Brothers, as you all know probably by now, or probably the world knows by now, Mario and Luigi are Italian-American plumbers from Brooklyn, whom they suddenly wind up in the Mushroom Kingdom at a time when King Bowser arrives to take over the Mushroom Kingdom, and Princess Peach is rounding up her kingdom to help combat against the evil forces of Bowser and his Koopa army. So now Mario and Luigi need to help the princess, as well as other familiar faces from the Super Mario franchise, fight against Bowser to prevent the Mushroom Kingdom from going to smithereens. So when this movie was first announced, you know, with the infamous casting announcement, I, like everybody else, you know, as a big Super Mario fan as I am, I, like everybody else, laughed and lost my mind and lost my shit at the fact that this movie was actually being made, and thought it was the most absolutely ridiculous and unbelievable thing I'd ever seen, and everybody else was making this movie was just losing their minds, and I didn't know what the hell they were thinking. What the fuck? And I, like everybody else, could not get over the fact that Chris Pratt was going to be providing the voice of this very famous, beloved character of Mario, because, because Mario's a big character, and, you know, Chris Pratt and Mario. You at first glance you don't feel that they connect together, or you don't feel that they are one together, you know? And two, the fact that Chris Pratt is in everything right now, you know, from Jurassic World to Guardians to Lego Movie, Magnificent Seven, the Tomorrow War, The Passengers, and now the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Yeah, just him being in everything is like getting really annoying at this point, and you know, him being cast as Mario at the time just like fueled up, you know, the disbelief that we all had. I mean, Charles Martinet is literally right there to still do the voiceover. I mean, wouldn't it be easier to just like call him to do Mario again? But this time it's gonna be in a movie, so you're gonna get paid more. So I mean, that would have worked so well for Charles Martinet. But like, I mean, he does still appear in the movie, but as in like more minor, smaller roles in the movie. And to go along with the fact that they were not going to have their traditional Italian accents in the movie, which, like, a lot of people bother me as well. Well, to be fair, on the other hand, they are also half Italian, half Americans from Brooklyn, so they're also part American, to be honest. All while, despite Shigeru Miyamoto himself was being in the executive producer's chair for this movie, which, you know, at the time when he announced the cast, I didn't know what the hell he was thinking. I thought he was losing his mind. And to top it all off, that this movie was being made by Illumination Entertainment, which, if some of you are familiar with a lot of their movies nowadays, especially with the Minions movies, which they're very famously known for, you'd know that the quality of their films are very mediocre.
Illumination! Illumination!
Shut up!
I don't know a single movie from Illumination Entertainment that can come out as, you know, greatest movies of all time and all that, other than, you know, cash grabs and just being very mediocre in quality. I, like everybody else, heavily doubted this movie and thought it was just gonna fail and suck, but I guess here come 2023 now that the movie is finally out, and I gotta say, this movie does not deserve to be this good. And when I say this good, I mean like for a typical Super Mario fan, or for the casual moviegoer, which I'll delve into in a couple of minutes. For this movie to come out, it really is such a good time to be a Super Mario fan. And I think honest to God, safely say that I firmly believe, with confidence, that the video game curse can now finally be broken with this movie. Yes! Woo! So obviously I gotta start off with the good of this movie. You know, the movie is actually very highly entertaining. I actually had an absolute blast with the movie. I enjoyed this movie so freaking much, and, you know, I think I may be in love with this movie now. As a Super Mario fan, you guys have no idea how happy, excited, and ecstatic I was watching this movie. I mean, my friends were like, they knew how happy I was and excited I was watching this movie, more so than they were, because it's everything I wanted from a Super Mario movie. It literally has everything we love about the franchise, and all that is present in this movie, you know, minus a couple of things, which I will not spoil here, obviously. And it was honestly all perfect, you know, from every single item, from every single character, every single, you know, minion to boss, you know, you see a lot of them here. And I was able to get all the Easter eggs and references, that were both physically present in the movie, and not only that, but also musically in the movie too. It got me feeling all sorts of nostalgic vibes and chills just all over. And it was definitely not because the theater inside was really cold, because the AC was on. For me, it feels as though you are playing a Super Mario game, honestly, or transported into the world of Super Mario. You know, it's a similar feeling I get whenever I play the games, or as though I'm in the Super Nintendo Land at Universal Studios, which I was actually there a couple of weeks ago, and it was probably one of the most fun experiences I've had in a theme park, which all this is basically a typical Super Mario video game, you know, now presented as a movie on the big screen. For me, as a Super Mario fan, it was all perfect. But obviously, we gotta talk about the voice performances in this movie, because, like I said, when they were first announced, they were very questionable and just made us all laugh in, you know, absurdity. But yeah, we gotta talk about some of them, because actually some of them, they didn't turn out as bad as we thought they would be. First, starting off with Jack Black, who I think is provides the best voice and is probably the best part of this movie. I think he demonstrates the most range, I would say, in this movie. You know, we all know Jack Black as, you know, the typical fun guy, the crazy guy, and, you know, if you've seen, you know, Kung Fu Panda, or School of Rock, or even Jumanji, you probably know, you know, the kinds of characters that he plays, and, you know, he demonstrates that in this movie. It's basically provides, you know, himself. He's basically being himself, but this time as Bowser, he adds that low growling and, you know, menacing and very evilish version of him, I would say.
I finally found it. Now who's gonna stop me?
And yeah, he's able to implement, you know, the characteristics of Bowser as well as his own acting chops all together, and he comes out as the most funny of them all in the movie. And yeah, I gotta say, Jack Black really kicked it out of the park. He really did a great job with this movie, and I don't think I will ever doubt this guy ever again in any movie ever.
He's too awesome!
There is no charge for awesomeness.
Anya Taylor-Joy was actually one of, if not the only casting I was actually okay with when the casting was first announced. You know, Anya Taylor-Joy, she has a lot of potential. She's really going strong right now with Queen's Gambit, Split, Glass, and Emma, and also Last Night in Soho, I think the movie was called. And yeah, her as Princess Peach now, I think she was honestly really good. And her voice as Princess Peach, I can honestly kind of, you know, hear, you know, Peach having that kind of voice, you know, whether it's in the games or in a movie like this. And it's really cool to see Princess Peach as a badass this time around. You know, she's not the typical kind of damsel in distress that we're used to seeing her in most of the Mario games. But I think now has come the time and age where, you know, we're trying to move past that damsel in distress kind of role in a lot of things. And, you know, it's really nice to see Princess Peach kind of get out of that circle and become, you know, the badass that she is in this movie. And because if you're familiar with some of the games of Mario, there's a lot of Mario games, like the Mario sports games in this instance, where Peach gets to show off her skills and all that, and she's also a badass in those ones. So yeah, nice to see them move Peach away from that typical damsel in distress role that she normally is, you know, in this movie. And yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy also kills it as Peach. Seth Rogen also really worked well for me as Donkey Kong, actually. Seth Rogen is another one of those actors that never ceases to disappoint. And, you know, his voice as Donkey Kong in the movie, it actually honestly fits for me. And, yeah, I'm surprised of how well it fits the Donkey Kong character and along with every action that he does. And so, yeah. Well done for Seth Rogen for, you know, never failing to disappoint in whatever characters he plays. Rounding up all the good stuff, this movie is for the fans first, and probably only for the fans only. It literally is like a roller coaster theme park movie. You know, I'm sorry to Martin Scorsese, but this is the kind of movie that we need right now. You know, one that we didn't really ask for or deserved, but the Super Mario movie that we need. Now, is it the greatest video game movie of all time, or one of the best animated movies of all time? No, definitely not. I can sincerely say with a definite no. But is it? Is it better than the live-action 1993 Super Mario Bros. Movie that came before it? I can definitely say for sure that yes, it is better. It's miles better than that. But yeah, not as good as, you know, some of the previous video game movie adaptations that we've had recently in recent years so far, like the two Sonic the Hedgehog movies so far, and as well as Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I would probably put the Super Mario Bros. Movie at number 4, right below those three. So yeah, that's where I rank this movie in terms of, you know, some of the other video game movies that I've watched over the years. But with all the good stuff out of the way, it's time to head on to the not so good stuff, the bad stuff of this movie. Which, as a Super Mario fan, again, this time I'm willing to admit and just state it out there. Now, this movie will not be suitable for, you know, the movie critics or those only for film, who are only in for films as in whether an art form or looking for, you know, the greatest films of all time and all that, or in for a film that's looking for like political messaging and all that. They will not enjoy this as much as we fans do. But honestly, in my opinion, the movie critics, I think they should probably take a bit of a chill pill. You know, not every movie has to be the greatest of all time sort of thing, or not everything has to be an art film. Not every film nowadays needs to make a political statement. I think we honestly need at least a little break from just some of that, to be honest. do not expect any of that present here in this movie. So if you go in with not having these high raising the bar expectation sort of thing and just go in expecting nothing but entertainment, then you won't feel as disappointed. And because this movie is just fun, excited, and pure entertainment. On top of all that, this movie actually has, it honestly, honest to God, has no story at all, nor any character development in this movie whatsoever. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about that because if you look at a typical Mario game, you know that there's barely any plot involved. You know, because it's just Princess Peach gets kidnapped, Mario and Luigi, and sometimes the Toads have to save the day, and yeah, nothing goes anything beyond that, and it's basically what it is in this movie. You know, at the end of the movie, you just go, oh, Mario and Luigi is still Mario and Luigi. Toad is still Toad. Princess Peach is still Princess Peach. Bowser is still Bowser. Donkey Kong is still Donkey Kong. You know, that sort of thing. But for me, it doesn't really matter considering that they're always still in character anyway. But yeah, other than that, yeah, no character development from them whatsoever and no story at all. It doesn't really go forward and yeah, it just kind of falls flat in terms of the story. Just kind of goes like, whereas a lot of stories and a lot of movies, they go like, if you get one, if that makes sense. That's probably the best way I can explain it. Because of the lack of story in this movie, a lot of people, I think, like to point at Shigeru Miyamoto himself, because I think he's previously stated in some instances before that he's not a fan or doesn't really care for the story for any game at all, but I don't know. I think it's either that or it may just be like an Illumination entertainment kind of thing, considering that, you know, a lot of the Illumination entertainment movies are so mediocre because they don't really have some story. They don't really have a lot of, you know, very big or important story at all. So it may also be due to that, but I don't know. It's either between those two. And finally, to round out the bad aspects of this movie that I found, you know, just I think some of the voiceover, even though some of them slowly did grow on me throughout the film, I'll admit, however, it still did not do it for me. Some of them, I'm still not really a big fan of some of them. Like, for instance, like Chris Pratt. You know, throughout most of the movie, all I still hear is Chris Pratt and not really Mario. And yeah, I'm like with a lot of people, I'm still kind of mixed on, you know, Chris Pratt's voice as Mario. Although I think he did the best he can. But yeah, I just still hear him through this Mario that he's portraying. I've just seen him in way too many movies to recognize his voice by now.
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come!
Now, Charlie Day honestly fits as Luigi. I mean, he did a good job, obviously, but I just find, you know, I'm way too familiar with Luigi's voice in my head, and whenever I hear Charlie Day as Luigi, I just find that it's still a bit high pitched than what I'm used to, and a bit over the top. But I think Luigi was one of the better voiceovers from the ones I'm mixed on right now, so there's that. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, and it's only after going to Super Nintendo World, Nintendo Land in Japan, that Toad has become my favorite character of the Super Mario franchise. So going into this movie, you know, I'm just so used to the Toad voice in my head, kind of like, I'm the best. That's the kind of Toad voice that I'm very familiar with. So, and going to the movie, I still find his voice like a bit too low. Like, I don't know. I know that Keegan-Michael Key probably did try to, you know, make it his own, which I do understand, appreciate, and acknowledge. But yeah, it's still a bit too low for my taste. And Fred Armisen, who is Cranky Kong in the movie, yeah, I think it just sounded a bit off, to be honest. Yeah, like for me, I think Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong is probably the voice actor that I think probably is the one that I don't think fits the most with his character. More so than Chris Pratt probably for me, because, you know, since he's the main character, I've gotten more time to get used to his voice, so yeah, I think for Cranky Kong it just seemed a bit off for me. But at the end of the day, with this movie, to sum it all up, if you're a big fan of the Super Mario franchise as a whole, whether it is by the games, the Super Mario Bros. Super Show cartoon that came out in the 80s and 90s, or the theme park itself, you're going to love this movie, I tell ya. But if you're one of those movie critics expecting so much, you're not going to be a really big fan of this movie. But all of that being said, I really do hope that this movie gets a sequel or many more sequels to come, and I really do hope that this is the start, since Shigeru Miyamoto is in the executive producers table, and seeing as how much Nintendo franchises that he's created, I really do hope that this could be the potential start of a Nintendo cinematic universe going forward. So I'm going to do something a little different this time around. I'm going to give 2 types of ratings because I can't really decide which one I want to just delve down to. So I'm going to give 2. One my movie critic score and one my casual moviegoer and Super Mario fan score. So my movie critic score, I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10 and a C+. But as a casual moviegoer and Super Mario fan, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10 and an A-. So originally I was intent on doing like a spoiler review for this movie, but I think that since there's a lot to talk about, I can talk about this movie all day. There's a lot of Easter eggs and references that can be found in the movie, both physically present in the movie and musically in the movie, that I can talk about as a really big Super Mario fan. I think instead I want to work on like a Easter eggs and references kind of video instead, which I think that way it'll be easier to I'll be able to break down more things that way, as like I said, there is a lot to talk about in this movie without spoiling it. So I think it may end up being that, but we'll see. I might need to watch the movie again to honestly try to get all the Easter eggs and references as best I can, but if it's for content for this YouTube video and you guys are like what you see with this channel so far, then who knows, maybe it might be worth it. But that's going to do it for my general movie review of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, out now in theaters. But my important question for you guys is, as always, have you seen the movie? And if so, what did you think of it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't seen it, are you going to see it or you're not going to see it? If not, or if so, then also let me know in the comments down below. I want to know as well. We can create some lively discussions in the comments that way. Yeah, I really want to know if some of you have seen the movie or are not going to see this movie, what you guys think of this movie in general, because the critics and audience split is really, really large right now. So I really want to know what you guys think. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up because it helps out a ton. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you can tune in for more videos like this. And if I end up doing an Easter eggs and references kind of video for this movie, then you can subscribe to tune in for that. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Rhinos, roll out, take care, and let's go! Woohoo!